It's not snowing outside, so we're not plowing, and it's super cold here in Michigan. So I'm gonna go through my grandfather's old 404 Farmall. I'm gonna dive into this guy because I don't think it's had a ton of maintenance that's been done to it for probably 10, 15 years before I got it. We simply use this tractor for planting. It's had the basics done, change oil, go through the transmission fluid. The Farmall 404 is an interesting tractor because it's basically the rear end of a Super C, except this one's a little different. It's got high speed and low speed. So most have a 4-speed forward, 1-speed reverse. This has 8 speeds forward, which is a little bit different than the norm, but I'm a little bit into trying to restore this. I see a ton of really pretty tractors out there, the old ones, and I'm in between the patinaed look of a very well taken care of 1960 tractor or just taking this guy to the nines and making it look new. And I think the first step in that's going to see what's happening inside once we take this hood off. Let's get after it. Ooh. If you haven't seen a lot of older tractors, this one you actually drop oil in here to lubricate the bearings that are in the alternator. Kind of interesting. Now this filter, another one that I really question how long it's been since anyone has been inside this air filter. That kind of scares me. And this is an old Donaldson filter. So if you ever have heard that name before, that's what this is. It's an oil-based filter. You could see Donaldson's name there. Doesn't look too bad. Long ago, this guy was changed away from points over to an electronic ignition. That was just so this thing ran a little bit better. Points were always kind of a mess in this for some reason. But either way, let's just take out the number 4 spark plug. I don't remember somebody labeling these, but for whatever reason, someone did. That's why I want to take a look inside here and just see what's going on. Tractor runs great, but how much money is it really worth putting into this guy? That's what I want to know. This is my Teslung inspection camera. Obviously we have an LED light here. We can see what's going on. We got a great picture on here. I just want to set this up so I can take a video. You can see the video mark in the corner. I got a trigger in the back. This guy will move back and forth. So if you see me moving this around, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to situate it so I can go up and down. I'm looking up at this point. Those should be the valves. I'm gonna look down. See what we can see on the cylinder. Valves. Cylinder. And we are obviously at the top. Don't start. It's one of the reasons I love this tractor. She'll start dang near any time. Now, that's a better view. There is our piston looking down. Top of the wall. So here, let me go back. If I can move around just slightly. We've got probably where our rings come up, and there is a bit of metal that is sitting right here at the top. The actual cylinder wall, if I can get down, it doesn't look horrible, but it sure as heck doesn't look good. It looks pitted, and let's see if we can get in and take a closer look. That's interesting. I'm going to take a video of this. You can see that it is pitted slightly as you come up. It's not horrible, but obviously probably from sitting, this is something you could kind of expect. Piston doesn't look too horrible here. And if we look down, whew, front. Again, there you can see some of the rust, especially if I probably drop the light. I can't drop it off. Drop the light down. You can see some of the rust, mostly from just not being used. This is something I think that would probably clean up well if I can get a little bit more, maybe even just hone it on this. But this is something I'm wondering about, and I guess I'm gonna see what we can do. It's interesting to take a look in here, just see what's going on. Not expecting a lot of difference here between the number 1 and number 4, although still got some of the same pitting. Number 1 looks a little bit cleaner by a long shot. Interesting. I'm going to hit record again. You can see how some of this is dripping down. This is, I'm by no means a old tractor engine expert, but it's interesting to see how some of the oil is dripping down there. Probably from it sitting, or it could be, that could be fuel from anything. Fuel and oil could be, I doubt, from us just using it. This tractor sits, 90% of its life, it's just sitting in here. But as far as the cylinder walls go, other than that rust, they look good. I think I'm going to drop a little bit of oil on the top of each one of these and kind of let that get in there. But overall, I'm actually pretty impressed. This tractor runs excellent. Everything in it, it starts, it idles. I mean, it starts and runs sometimes when faster than you could imagine. 109 degrees in there, which is interesting because 111. When I was trying to roll the engine over, it started just a minute ago, or putts popped. But either way, it's nice to kind of see what's happening on the inside, 109 degrees. So that could be partially because of the light that's in there. Try to take a look up at the valves. Wrong way. One's open. That's an interesting look right there with one of them guys being open. You can see how much sludge is on the bottom of it. 3,000 hours on this guy. Wow, she needs to be cleaned up in there. It always interests me on these older engines how things kind of stay not so corroded. I mean, this guy is ages old. Just taking a look down at the crank that's coming out and the main pulley. I mean, this guy's probably never been touched. Little bit oily. Picture here is perfect. And better yet, not full of a bunch of mice. That's something that is always nice. I love having an inspection camera around so I can see what's going on. When we look at this engine, obviously we've had a hydraulic line replaced here, which doesn't surprise me in the least, but look at this. I mean, this is hauling all the coolant right out of the radiator in. This thing has probably, the thing could be original. That's just, to me, a little bit scary. Parts and pieces for this are basically non-existent, other than mostly O-rings, little things. I'm questioning how easy it's going to be to find a rebuild kit for the motor, but that's definitely something worth looking at. It's interesting. I'm going to fire this guy up where it sits right now just to kind of take a look at everything that's here and just see what it looks like without the hood. Not bad for no muffler. What do? Something that runs so well, works well. Obviously, when we take that inspection camera on the inside and look around, we can see that the engine's pretty gummed up, valves, everything, probably seating working well, but 3,000 hours later, this guy could be cleaned up, gone through, and probably run a lot better than what it is now, albeit it never will need the extra power that we'll gain from going through it because it only is used for rolling a 4-row or 2-row planter, whatever we're doing at the time. Nothing big. This is basically a very small utility tractor at this point, no longer is into farming. So question for you guys, what would you do? Would you go through, spend the money, look at everything in the inside, go through, make it perfect? Or would you live with the patinaed tractor that you knew your grandfather had and took care of and always had it looking like it did the day he basically retired this guy? That's a tough one for me. Interested in your opinions and comments, leave those guys below. As always, we appreciate you watching this video. Thank you for taking the time kind of walking through this tractor with me. It's always fun to just look through stuff, see how things were in the old days. I appreciate your comments. Give us a like in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.